Ladies and gentlemen, Colby Covington is officially back fighting this Saturday, fighting Joaquin Buckley. And God, as much as I wanted to say that I was not interested in him fighting, not interested in his press conference appearances, not interested in his interviews, I just can't help it, man. I don't know. I'm drawn in. I've been trying to think about Colby and why as soon as this press conference was released, and by the way, he did an interview with MMA Guru as well, which is pretty darn funny, I got to admit. As aggravated as I kind of felt about him, why I made that video about him calling out Ian Garry, insulting the heck out of him, and then not really wanting to fight him, which is so weird that he has availability and could have probably fought Ian Garry, but didn't. And now is fighting Joaquin Buckley. It's very frustrating, and it seems unfair. It kind of annoys me, and I feel bad for Ian Garry, and I'm just like, man, I'm done with Colby. But then something in me, I don't know. I saw the interviews pop up, and I don't know, man. He is entertaining, despite the shtick and the character and all this stuff, and we all know it's fake. But I don't know, he's funny. So I just wanted to make a video because I did watch the entire presser from start to finish, and I didn't watch a lot of other fighters, and I guess the conclusion that I can come to is, as cringy as he might be sometimes, and obviously as we kind of have a feeling that he kind of prepares what he says, almost writes some sort of a script to some extent. I mean, I think obviously a lot of the questions he doesn't know what he's going to get asked, so some things are off the cuff, maybe a larger percentage than I think, but he's funny. He's funny. He definitely crosses the line continuously, but I guess the takeaway message for fans like me and other fans out there is, yeah, he does something different. It's not always everybody's cup of tea, and it's not typically what I gravitate towards, but maybe it's the combination of him preparing and developing somewhat of a sense of comedic timing and delivery that he's entertaining. Now, I'm actually more excited for this fight because of all this crazy smack talking that he's doing. He goes on to MMA Guru's channel and talks disparagingly about everybody pretty much. I got one clip pulled up here, him talking about my favorite fighter, so that's the one I wanted to focus on. I think that's a little uncalled for, but hey, I'm a massive Khamzat fan and don't like to see people talking negatively about him because I truly think he's a really great guy. He's bringing up that crypto issue. I'm going to play that in a second and I'll respond to it. But yeah, he goes off on John Jones, and I think that's a bit unfair too. I know they have their beef back and forth, but he's going in on the whole thing that MMA Guru always talks about. Not the biggest fan of that, but what can I say? As cringy and as obvious that it is that it seems to be some sort of a shtick, I seem to be drawn towards. So I don't even really know why I'm making this video. I guess I'm just here admitting, sadly, that as much as I want to dislike Colby, I do find myself watching his interviews and watching his fight. And I think that's the entire point of what he's been saying, and what a lot of people say is make people care in some way. It's better to care than to be indifferent for a fighter. To be tremendously hated, I'm not saying I hate the guy, but to have this much negativity directed towards you when it comes to pay-per-view sales and pay and all that stuff, I guess it's working. So as much as we want to hate this guy, whatever he's doing, I think it's still working. Now, the question will be, after that performance against Leon Edwards, does he still have it in him, right? He's 36 years old. He does take great care of himself, as he says. I don't believe he drinks or does any drugs or things like that. Is it true? Was his foot really broken? I don't know. He also says, I think he had altitude sickness or something like that. Or I'm not sure if that was in reference to the Kamaru fight, but I don't know. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens on Saturday. I think Joaquin Buckley is a super athletic, up-and-coming fighter, 4 in a row in the welterweight division. So I think it's going to be a really tough matchup for Colby. But if he does come out and if he can put him away, I mean, that would be pretty crazy. I do wonder what will happen. People are speculating that it would be his last fight. And I think that would be unfortunate, because I think it's an interesting fight and a cool fight, but I think there's many more, especially because of the nature of his character and the negativity that he brings to the table. There's a lot of great grudge matches. The biggest one, which I don't know if he's going to take, it sounds like he still wants these preconditions or these things met that he made for Ian Garry, like his wife to appear on his Instagram, all these random things that he's obviously Ian Garry will never agree to. But it seems like he just does not want that fight. But let's see what happens. And actually, I think whether he wins or loses, I think that fight's still there. Ian Garry, if you looked at the rankings yesterday, he actually moved up, and I believe he moved up, or maybe he was already at 7. Maybe he stayed still, but they're one spot apart. So maybe it actually would make sense if Colby does lose that he'd kind of have to fight Ian Garry. He'd be forced to because Ian Garry would be above him in the rankings. We'll see. But I think that would be interesting. The problem is there's really not much heat between him and Buckley. So I don't know what to expect tomorrow at the presser, but I want to see what happens. And I want to see if he's still got what it takes, if he's still in great conditioning, great shape, and still has the hunger to compete at the highest level. So I guess we'll see. Now, here's the one clip that I have queued up of Colby talking negatively about Khamzat Chimaev, so I just thought I'd play this and give my response.
Hello, sir. Recently, you've verbally attacked Khamzat Chimaev, but if we abstract from his personality and life outside the cage, what can you say about him as an MMA fighter?
Dude, he's an absolute scumbag. The fact that he rug pulled all his fans, that's the most disgusting.
So again, you notice that he didn't answer the question, right? He was asked about him as a fighter, but I mean, look at you say, dude. He's an insanely good fighter. He does talk a little bit about his cardio and his fighting, but now he's talking personally. And again, I maybe I have blinders on. I don't think this whole issue, this quote unquote crypto scam, was his fault. Maybe he should have done more due diligence, or his manager should have. But I really, really don't think that was him perpetrating or attempting to intentionally trying to perpetrate a scam. There's just no way I believe that. You can watch him and see how he behaves and see what he cares about. It's just not, I just don't believe it. I think most people agree with me.
Disgusting act I've seen in the MMA ever. Him and Khabib, like, just absolute scammers. Like, dude, you're making enough good money with the UFC. Now you're gonna rug pull and do a fake meme coin and scam all your fans for millions of dollars. I mean,
meme coin, not mem coin.
These are fans that are working their asses off every day at McDonald's or low income paying jobs, and they're investing in them because they trust the fighter and they like their fighter, and for him to just shit on all his fans like that, it's disgusting. I mean, that's why he's cum shot. You know, the guy's literally fucking, just the worst person on earth. It's so sad that he did that to his fans. So, as an MMA fighter, I don't think he's anything special. I think that he got exposed in that Gilbert Burns fight, that he doesn't have good cardio. I thought Usman beat him. When they fought, if that would have been 5 rounds, Usman would have beat him for sure.
I rewatched that fight. He did not win. And don't say, I mean, but again, it's Colby. You can't even argue with him because he's playing a character. So what he's saying, he probably doesn't even believe. He probably thinks Khamzat is an incredible fighter because he is an incredible fighter. But anyways.
Sure. But I thought Usman beat him 2-1. So I don't see anything special out of Chimaev. He needs to stop fucking scamming his fans.
And a quick one from me. I'm just curious. So what's more important to you, winning in octagon?
Yeah, then he asks about like popularity or fighting or whatever. So I don't know. Anyways, like, what can I say? He draws people in. He draws me in. I mean, I almost thought my desire to watch his stuff was waning because I'd see other interviews of him pop up, and I just was less and less interested after the seemingly endless stream of like excuses, these weird call outs of Paddy Pimblett and Dustin Poirier and lightweights and other fighters that are below his weight class. But I think what I'm glad about is that the UFC, it feels like, put their foot down and is making him fight an up-and-coming difficult welterweight. And that's exciting. I would not have been nearly as excited, I think. Well, who knows? But I don't think I would have been nearly as excited to watch him fight Paddy Pimblett or something else. I want to see him continue to compete at the highest level and be pushed, especially with all the smack talking he's doing. To like run to a lower weight class, I think would have just felt like we're getting robbed. So this is a great fight and a really great challenge. Let's see what happens. And I'm curious to see, does he still have what it takes? Is he still hungry? Is he still training hard? He talks in the MMA Guru video as well about the fact that he's getting really, really into poker. Apparently, he placed 9th in like a super large tournament. He's now going to the World Series of Poker next. And it appears that that's his plan for his career after fighting. So how much time is he playing poker? How much time is he still focused on his MMA career? I don't know, but I guess we'll see. So anyways, that's all I got. I guess we'll see that presser tomorrow. I will be watching it, as I watch these interviews and whatnot today, and I'll be tuning into the fight. Let's see. It's an interesting question that will be answered on Saturday. Thank you guys so much for joining. If you like this video, make sure to click that like button. And if you want to see more from the 10-7 MMA channel, make sure to click subscribe. Thank you guys so much for joining. We'll see you in the next video. Take it easy.